Hi, welcome everyone to the first panel. My name is Joshua and I'll be the moderator for this session. We are pleased to have four prominent individuals in the golf industry join us for this panel today. And I will take my time to introduce these four distinguished panelists. So first of all, I have national golfer James Leow. He's also our SEA Games 2019 individual gold medalist. And we've got Aloysa Atienza, also national golfer and the reigning SEA Games individual silver medalist. And we've also got director of NTUC Club, Mr. Stewart Ang. And last but not least, we have Miss Leanne Sim. She is the co-author of the book Kee Boon, the Businessman Bureaucrat, and also the head of marketing and communications Asia for EFG Bank. So first of all, thank you for joining us on this panel. I believe you're all golfers. So the first question really is, how did we all get into golf? Maybe we can start with James.
I started with golf when I was 6 years old. My dad brought me to a range, and that was a period where I think golf fever was a big thing. And I was just a young kid running around with a lot of energy, just hitting balls and running around with this golf club in my hand. And that's just kind of how it developed. I just started having passion for it and playing some junior events. Started out at Seletar Base Golf Club. Now that it's closed, I'm now over at Seletar Country Club.
6 years old, so that was how many years ago?
Quite a while. 19 years ago.
Right. Maybe Aloysa, how did you get started? Similar age or?
I think I started a bit later. I was about 9 years old. It was merely a bonding activity with my dad, my brother, and my cousins. I was the only girl, but that actually got me quite competitive. I started off at Mandai Executive Golf Club. I went for coaching, and then my coach kind of like encouraged me to play like a couple of like junior tournaments, and then I kind of like won my first one, so I got like pretty excited, and that kind of like got me to keep going on for like other competitions, and until now I just keep playing. And
Do it yourself?
Yeah, I started 6, 9. I started at 12. Just kidding. I started much later. I remember my brother-in-law, one of my brother-in-law, he passed me a club. I don't know what club was that then. Later I realized it was a wedge. So I took the wedge and then asked around. Some of my colleagues actually play golf. So I started following them to the range and then eventually get hooked with it. So now I don't play that often, probably about once a week. Yeah, of golf.
That's not often.
I think out of everyone here, I'm the worst golfer. I grew up in a family of golfers. So my grandfather, Kee Boon, started the Tanah Merah Country Club. And he totally has a golf bug, and he was really into golf. My grandmother started SLGA, Jeanette Sim. So she's also crazy about golf. So I grew up in a family of golfers. My parents also are golfers. So the first thing you do if your whole family is a golfers, you hate golf. You just do not want to be anywhere near golf. So I just never, even though my whole family, there was like clubs like golf clubs everywhere, everyone was like chipping, putting, but I just didn't want to play. I think also because I was not sure whether I can play up to that standard, so you have a bit of pressure. So I just said, okay, I just don't want to play. I actually only started golf about 5 years ago. So fairly recent. I picked it up first because I thought, okay, I just try. I think it was just really random. I just thought, okay, I might as well just try. And then I really liked it. And then my husband made fun of me for playing golf. And then after that, he picked it up, and now he's totally into golf. He's always watching golf videos, like going to the range, like always trying to play. So so it's interesting, and luckily now my kids like it. So my kids have just picked it up. They're 6 and 9, and they like it. So so it's a bit different story.
Thanks, Leanne. I think you definitely grew up in the most prominent golfing family between us. So maybe you did mention that since you grew up in a golfing family, you didn't want to go anywhere near golf. You care to share a little bit more? Because not so sure why. Because we thought you would definitely jump straight into golf.
Yeah, it's really strange because like nobody forced me to play golf and nobody encouraged me either. Maybe they were just too busy playing golf themselves. There was not a lot of pressure to play. I swam competitively, so I was doing that. But yeah, it was just there was just no I guess my parents and my grandparents just wanted us to find our own path. So and I think it was good because you pick up golf when you're ready. I think if you pick up golf when you're not ready, you either ruin the game for the child or or you drop it, because a lot of people, they pick up golf because they think, oh, it's like social pressure or whatever. But if you're not personally committed to it, you will drop it after a while. I've seen a lot of friends who do that. So yeah, so I think it was good that I picked it up so much later.
Right. Was there a trigger for you to pick up the game actually? Or because you mentioned you grew up not picking up the game, and then only 5 years ago you started?
No, I think because so we are members of Tanah Merah. So now I was like, oh, I'm paying so much fees, like monthly fees. I was like, I think I better like use something more than just the pool.
Okay. Interesting. And that definitely relates to your role now, which we'll maybe go into slightly later.
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe back to James and Aloysa. You both started very young, mainly because maybe of your parents who started golf. But in terms of the competitive element, so when did you actually start feeling like golf became something that you're good at, and how did you continue that competitive element in your golf?
I can start. So I played my first junior international event at Tanah Merah. It was at the Old Gardens, and that was the first time I ever competed. Never felt that much pressure. Had like caddies that were telling me to do stuff that I had no idea what I was doing, and just hit the shot. And I ended up winning it after that week against international players from Thailand and Malaysia, Indonesia, and on. I think that was a pretty cool experience, and I've never felt like winning was that awesome of a feeling. And I think everyone loves winning, right? So I ended up picking up the sport and trying to pursue it. That's why I went into junior golf program and Seletar base and Seletar Country Club after that, and competed in all the junior events in Singapore. And I had really good fellow classmates or like classes of people that played against me in the junior tournaments. And I mean, it was really competitive, and I kind of grew up playing sports. My parents were athletes as well, so I think just being competitive and being in the environment just really brought the real me. And yeah, then just started from there. And then after that, I started going through the military, of course, and I ended up going to college golf, which was the most exciting time of my life, where experiencing the US life as well as playing the most competitive golf I've ever had in my life in college golf, where all the top amateurs in the world are playing in, and playing on some PGA Tour venues that they hosted big events in. So I think it's been a long journey, and I think it was awesome. I'm glad I picked up golf and competing in it.
Right. Aloysa, we'll come to you in a bit, but because James mentioned college golf, so I think a lot of the listeners want to find out more about college golf. So maybe just a quick question on how you felt college golf really accelerated your golfing career. I think both on and off the course. Yeah.
I think just off the course itself, I was playing against guys on the team that were world ranked. Almost everyone on the team were top 100 or top 150. And nationally ranked wise, we were in the whole of US, we were top 5 in and out every year in D1 golf, which is the highest division of golf in NCAAs and in the US. That's what every kid around the world that are intending to do college golf dream of doing. And I'm sure if you look at the PGA Tour players field every year, every event, almost every guy on the field has been through college golf, which is the most competitive, like I said. And like it's so competitive to a point that all the players there are always top ranked and always almost make it onto the PGA Tour, which is what everyone dreams of doing. And you have guys that play qualifiers and make it to majors even as an amateur as well. So I think competing on the field as well, like I say, you're playing against all the guys that are so good. It forces you to almost have your best and always needing you to play your best. So I think it demands a lot out of you competition wise and mental wise. So I think you learn to be mentally tougher, physically tougher, and try to be your best in any way you could and have an advantage over somebody so that you can win these events and have bigger opportunities and sponsors prospect or agency companies looking at you. So it's kind of like the big pathway to PGA Tour golf right now.
Yeah. Right. So we will talk about your future plans in a bit. Maybe over to Aloysa. How did you find out when you got good at golf, and then how did you start going from there?
I think for me it's a bit different from James. I think what drove me for like the last 10 years, I think it's just my passion in golf. I was always a bit competitive, so that got me going to like keep competing even though I wasn't like winning. I was a bit better than the rest when I was a lot younger when I first started. But of course, I had other commitments. In school, I didn't do golf as a CCA. I did netball in primary school, volleyball in secondary school and JC. So those CCAs were a bit demanding. So I spent a little less time on golf. I only practiced during the weekend. So of course, that wasn't good enough for me to be better than the rest. But I think when I entered university, I kind of like wanted to focus a lot more on golf. I spent more time practicing, and I think that just got my game a bit better. And sure enough, I managed to get into the squad at that age when I was in like my second or third year in university. And under SGA's program, I just got a lot of help and support just by better coaches, gym facility, mental coaching and stuff like that. I think that kind of accelerated my progress quite a lot. And I think just over the last 2 or 3 years in SGA, my golf game just improved a lot, quite drastically actually. So I think it's heading in the right direction, and hopefully I can take it from there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you did mention that you actually only joined the SGA squad 2020.
Yeah,
I think you only joined in 2020,
January,
and that was when you really started to focus more on golf.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the COVID pandemic hit, right? So you were not getting the opportunities overseas that we planned for. And then almost immediately after that, you were selected for the SEA Games through playing well locally, and eventually just thrown into the deep end into a big tournament, and you came out with a silver medal, Singapore's first in over 30 years. So how did you feel after winning that, or were there any expectations going into that, or and how do you feel after winning that medal?
I think thankfully for me, there wasn't really that much pressure put on me by people around me, by like SGA or whatever. My parents also didn't have much expectations on me. The only expectations I had was pressure put on myself. I think I just wanted to do my best. I did feel confident about my own game. And I did want to bring home a medal because I think the last time a medal was brought home was when Sok Hui did it in Singapore. I also felt like it was very possible for me lah. So yeah, and I think winning it because I just graduated in December, so that's when I actually did start practicing like more full time. It just felt very rewarding because I just could see like my hard work just slowly paying off. And I mean, the end goal is competing in like the LPGA tour. So just seeing like that much effort put in and seeing the rewards come so quickly, it just feels like everything's going in the right direction. And yeah, and I hope like that like inspires like the girls, because I think for the guys it's quite a big, like the boys have always been achieving quite a lot of stuff, especially for the amateur boys, but the girls not so much. So I hope like that's like an inspiration for like the younger girls that it's possible and it's not just the boys that can achieve it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely was inspiring, I think, to the junior girls. And we also realized that for SGA, high performance, what we call high performance, is always an important pillar. But the other important one is also how to grow the number of golfers, right? In order to have to groom future stars like yourself. So I think that's very related to our MOU arrangement with NTUC Club. Maybe Stewart, before we go into our MOU specific, maybe can you share some activities that NTUC Club actually currently have to engage with your members?
Slightly pointed out, right? The shared vision between SGA, SPGA, and NTUC Club actually laid the foundation for the MOU signing last July, right? So, leveraging on the partnership, we actually set up this U Golf Academy to provide affordable what do you call professional coaching to our members, right? And then the curriculum is actually endorsed by SGA. And then our union leaders, some of them, they are experienced golfers. They actually volunteers to be mentors to the students of the academy. And then they also promote golf to their unions, members of the respective unions.
Right. So maybe can you share more about the U Golf Academy? So I understand it's located at Orchid Country Club, right?
It's located at OCC, Orchid Country Club driving range. We have lesson every Thursday. Yeah, we hope to be able to skill up in the future. Not only having more lessons per week, and also island-wide, working with SPGAs and all that. Yeah,
understand. So I think NTUC Club does promote sports in general to your community. What are the objectives of promoting sports? How do you think actually sports can benefit the community at large?
Being the leisure arms and entertainment arms of the NTUC, National Trade Union Congress, right? It is our missions to actually provide recreational experiences of choice to our members. So that includes golf, right?
Right. And then we recently started promoting golf to union members after a few sports. Is there anything in particular NTUC Club feels that golf will benefit your members as compared to other sports?
Actually, golf, right, if you think about it, it used to be seen as an elite sport, enjoyed by the rich and the famous. But then NTUC thinks that NTUC wanted golf to be available to the people from all walks of life. So the work actually started in 1993, beginning from the setting up of this OCC, Orchid Country Club, right? 27 holes golf course. And then subsequently, in 2002, the My Golf Kaki was formed. That further brings down the entry levels of playing golf, right? And then in 2006, Marina Bay Golf Course opened for play. There's a public golf course, so members now get to play at a cheaper rates and all that.
Right. And then any other upcoming activities that NTUC Club intends to, golf-specific activities that NTUC Club intends to promote to its members?
We are stepping up the outreach programs. Also leveraging with partnership of SGA on your Get Golfing programs. And also we want to reach out to the youth through schools, again working hand in hand with SGA. And also together with NTUC youth membership arm called NIBO to bring the what they call golf, these sports to the youth.
Right. Yes. So actually we have been collaborating for about a year and a half now after the MOU. So it's good to see that there are quite a few union members taking up the lessons under SGA's curriculum. And also I think getting the handicaps as well, right?
Yes.
Are they almost? Yeah.
Yes. Some of that already.
Right.
Hitting the golf course.
Right. So I think it's ongoing. We have already converted close to 50 new golfers, and all of them trying to get their handicaps. And we're also looking forward to more Get Golfing activities, which is the introduction to golf clinics at the various heartland centers through NTUC Club. Yeah. So maybe Leanne, for yourself, what do you think the benefits of golf are?
Oh, I think there's a lot. Firstly, on a personal level, it's a lot of mindfulness. I really feel that you do a lot of not just physical work but mental work, because when you play a bad shot, you actually have to get over that and move on, and you cannot dwell on that bad shot, otherwise the next shot will be bad. So so this is something that I have to learn as a a very new golfer, that you just have to move on. When the shot is bad, you just move on and you play it, and then you accept that the shot is in the rough, or you accept that the shot is bad, but you just have to just zone it out and then focus on your next shot. And I think that is very good when you life for your work life or everyday life, or just your everyday living, because life is not always smooth sailing. And then if something bad happens, you just have to, yes, it's bad, I accept that it's bad, but how do I move forward? It's problem solving. And I think that's really good for my really changing my mental set, instead of just like, dwelling on the past. For my family life, it's actually quite good because my husband and I enjoy playing golf together and talking about golf. So like there's a commonality. And also now that my kids play and my son's more interested, so he also talks about golf. So I think it's really nice to have that sort of shared interest in the family, as James and Aloysia share also.
Right. Thank you. So you did mention a little bit about how golf draws parallels to your career, right? So maybe could you share a little bit more about how golf is now related to your current role at
Sure.
EFG? Yeah.
Yeah, so I head marketing communications for EFG Private Bank. One of the most exciting things that that we have already launched on the 2nd of December is the partnership with SGA to promote junior golf development in Singapore. So EFG has long been a huge supporter of golf within the region. So in Hong Kong, we have been very successful in nurturing and developing talents such as Tiffany Chan, who's Hong Kong's two-time Olympian and LPG player. And also currently we're supporting Ariana, who also is one of the EFG Young Foundation scholars, among many others. So we have been very successful in doing that in Hong Kong, and we've also been supporting Koh Sok Hui. So we want to accelerate our sponsorship and accelerate our support for junior golf in Singapore. So that's why we're very, very excited that on the 2nd of December, we signed the contract with SGA to do that.
Right. Thank you for EFG's very strong support for junior golf development. I'm definitely looking forward to working closely to groom the next champions in Singapore. And actually this week is a milestone event for Singapore golf. We are having the first Singapore Women's Open, which Aloysa will be competing in. How do you feel? What does it mean to you having a major international event on home soil? Because I think James played in a couple of Singapore Open, the men's version, but this is the first time we are having the women's edition. So what does it mean to you personally, and how do you think it benefits women's golf in Singapore in general?
It definitely means a lot to me because I've always seen, first of all, like the Singapore Open for the men's, and the only other women's event that is held in Singapore is usually the HSBC, and very rarely we get a spot in that tournament. So finally having our first national open in Singapore is a huge thing because I think especially for the elite players, it drives us to want to have a spot and earn a spot in this event. Fortunately, I managed to get my spot this year, and I think it's just another event for the super young girls to have a dream and get inspired by the top professionals like in the KLPGA Tour. And there's like top players like Ataya this year that is playing. She's still quite young, but she reached world number 1 just recently. I think that's also a very big inspiration for the younger ones that know like age is just a number and they can achieve what she has achieved. And yeah, so I'm super excited and I honestly cannot wait. Of course I'm nervous, but yeah, it's the first time and yeah, it's just super exciting.
Any goals for the week?
I just want to take it one shot at a time. Making the cut and finishing high up on the leaderboard is of course a huge win for me. But I don't want to place that much expectations on myself, and I just want to play the best golf that I can.
Right. All the best this week. Hope to see you flying that flag high. We definitely hope to see our local players doing well. Maybe back to James. Now that you have accomplished a solid amateur career, I think you are currently ranked 50 in the top 60, definitely in the world official WAGAR, in the world amateur golf rankings. What are your plans moving forward in your career?
I've achieved a lot of goals for SGA and also myself, and definitely inspired and did my best to fly the flag as high as I could anywhere around the world. And now that it's time to move on, I try announcing to turn pro soon and try to make it to. I got an exemption through Asia Pacific Golf Confederation to get to the Asian Tour Q School final stage, and hopefully, I'm doing a 1 month prep work in the US with my coach and trainers before attending that Q school and playing. And hopefully I can secure my Asian Tour membership and have a go against the top pros around the world that's playing on the Asian Tour.
Right. So the pro career is upcoming for you, very exciting. I think definitely your amateur career, you've done Singapore very proud. Not just the SEA Games gold medal, but even just this year. Recently, you just clinched second in the Nomura Cup for both team and individual. So that is actually Singapore's best finish. And a couple of months ago in France as well, you were part of the team that actually secured Singapore's best finish again at the World Amateur Team Championships at the Eisenhower Trophy. So we wish you all the best in your pro career. Yeah. I think we got to talk a little bit more about Leanne's book. So I understand that you co-wrote that book. You did mention earlier that your grandfather, of course, is Mr. Kee Boon, very prominent figure in the golf industry. He founded Tanah Merah Country Club. So could you just share a little bit more about that book in particular and your relationship maybe with him?
Sure. So in September we launched the book, the Kee Boon, the Businessman Bureaucrat. I was very overwhelmed by how many people supported the book and told me they enjoyed it. So the book is actually really just a labor of love, and we wrote it also to kind of commemorate my grandfather's life, because I think previously he passed away 15 years ago, but we didn't really know so much about his life because he kept his private and his public life professional life quite separate. So in researching the book with my co-writer Lo Shiping, we had the opportunity to talk to a lot of his friends or who are still around, who shared some interesting stories about his golf adventures, because he loved to travel around the world playing golf. He's so passionate about golf courses. And just understanding how golf relates to business and nation building. So it's really interesting. Like the reason why, so Tanah Merah was actually founded because the late Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, he saw that piece of land next to Changi, and you can't build high rise next to Changi Airport. So he said, okay, this is a good place for a golf course, and then he tasked my grandfather to build it. And so my grandfather, I think one thing about him is whatever he's tasked to do, he'll do it to the best of his ability. So he really put all his heart and soul into making the course. And they experimented with different grass, different so there was so much effort, so much love that went to the course. And actually it started out as a civil servants a course, right? So they also wanted, because they knew that a lot of our neighboring countries, diplomats and politicians, they play golf. So we wanted that access for our civil servants as well. So they had a scheme where, it was really, really very cheap for civil servants to get membership of the club. Like it was a few $1,000s and you could pay in installments. So that was, I think the genesis of the club was really, very, very inspirational. And so that's why until today, the vibe and the atmosphere of Tanah Merah is really, really very nice. It's a, full of civil servants, and it's a very caring atmosphere. And my grandfather, he really cared for everybody in the club. Like the club was really his labor of love. Even the caddies, to all the staff, he really cared for everybody. So one of the stories that actually is quite legendary, I've heard. And one of the caddies, the marshals, Muhammad Hussein, shared with me was, in one of the locker rooms, there was like one of the members who was scolding the attendant very loudly. So my grandfather wouldn't have it. So he went up to him and said, if you're not happy with it, sell your club membership. So don't treat your staff badly, So I think that's the kind of the ethos and the vision behind the club, and it resonates until today.
Right. Thanks, Leanne. Thanks for sharing. Tanah Merah Country Club, I mean, definitely founded by your grandfather, and it's taken great steps. I think it's hosted many international events, including the Singapore Women's Open this week, which Aloysa is playing in. Maybe Aloysa, just share with us some tips around the Tampines. So what's the favorite part of your course, and what do you think you have to do to play well this week?
I think for that course, short game and putting is like the key to scoring. Because the greens are very big. It's very easy to get, I don't know, like 18 greens, which is quite rare for a lot of courses. So it's very easy to get onto the greens, but hitting it to the right spot on the greens is very crucial. And the putts are not always that simple. So I think that's the key for me to score well. Even if you miss the greens, you have to miss it on the right spots so that you can get the best chances to make up and down. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, definitely a very challenging Tampines golf course. So we will see how the best players play this week at the Singapore Women's Open. Yeah. So James did mention his pro career is looming. Maybe for yourself, what's the timeline for that? And are there any plans in the near future?
Definitely in the near future. I'm hoping to try out for Q School next year. That's definitely in the looks. I'm still not sure of what the schedule is because Q School is still running right now for most countries. But definitely I want to try like LPGA Tour because that's the end goal. If I can get there faster, why not, right? But there's still a couple of like major tournaments early in the year next year. So that's definitely something I'm hoping I can build some momentum before going on to turning pro. Yeah.
Right. Okay, I think before we conclude the session, maybe if there's one thing from each of you that you just like to share to the viewers on why you encourage someone to take up the game of golf, what would it be? Maybe we start with James.
I think it's actually two things personally for me.
No, just one.
Just one? Okay, fine.
No, just kidding. You can share both.
I think it's just physically wise. I think it's a injury-free sport. I think you can play it till you're pretty old. And you can go walk 9 holes every morning or even 18 holes and enjoy the round of golf with your friends without getting injury. And the next thing is that I think it's a really good reflection of life, like Leanne said. Learning to handle, in life is not always smooth sailing. It's always tough, and success doesn't come unless you work hard for it. And you can hit a good shot, and your ball could be in somebody else's divot. And it's the way you accept it and move on and try to figure something out to really move forward. So I think that's why I think it's a good sport for everyone to take up.
Right, Aloysa?
I think for me it's a lot about bonding. I think like for James and Leanne, a lot of us, it was a sport that allowed us to bond with our families. But it's also not just for families, but for friends also. For me, I was able to bond more with like my NUS friends. It got us closer, and I think it's a sport that allows you to play with people of different skill levels. Because there's a lot of like different games that you can play, even if like one person just started out or someone else is like of an elite level. So I think it's a very good bonding activity for families and friends. Yeah.
I think for me, golf, unlike other sports, you actually play at your own pace. You can disregard how the rest play well or play bad. You just focus on your own game. And also is a sports that's for all age, all fitness level, and it promotes social interaction and also networking.
Yeah, I have to agree with everybody. I think sports is really one of the games that, as everyone can play. There are people who are 90-something-year-old who are still playing, legendary people. And I mean, that's remarkable. And it's something that you can carry on, throughout your life, from 5 to 95, and you take the life lessons. Like, you will actually never be, you're always learning. There'll never be a point of golf where, okay, I'm done learning. Like, you can have a great day the day before, and then you can be like really bad. And actually, the frustration is sometimes when your short game's really good, and then after that, like you just can't hit your driver, and then the next day your driver's great, and they just can't putt. So it's like it's really a lifelong journey, and I think that's fun because like there's never the same. It's never the same every day. Yeah.
Yeah, we all wish for that day that everything goes well, right? But then that's when James will actually win a PGA Tour event.
Looking for that.
Yeah. So I think with that, thank you so much to all the panelists for sharing your inspiring stories. Thank you to all the viewers for tuning in. I hope that this sharing has actually inspired you to try taking up the game, and that you learn more about all our panelists and how golf played a significant role in their lives. So the next panel actually is on a separate topic, which is also as important. It's about how golf and philanthropy actually come hand in hand, and how golf can be a force for good and a philanthropic activity for all. So please stay tuned and see you soon. Thank you.